All right, guys, welcome to the Ground Higher podcast. We are in episode 4, and I have a special guest today. His name is Matt Skeele. He is the man, the myth, the legend. He's somebody who I would consider a modern day prophet. Incredible insight into the word, incredible understanding of it. And he recently came back from Israel, where he had an incredible experience there. So I actually want to start there. Like, give us a quick, how was your time there, going to the Holy Land? What was your experience like?
Yeah, bro, it's Jerusalem, it's the city of the King. And it's amazing. That's been kind of a passion project of mine, is just to connect the leaders in the church in Hawaii to the church in Israel. And so we had a small team. There was 6 of us, all piled into a 2-bedroom apartment just right outside the old city. Yeah. It's on a street called Jaffa Street, very well known in Jerusalem. It's like where all of the restaurants and retail and shopping is, just outside of the old city. Wow. And, I'm a newbie. I've only gone, this is only my second time. Okay. We went very dynamic, complex, interesting place. You have the culture. And we went for a biblical feast. Oh, okay. So Feast of Tabernacles. Yeah. And that's where you still have kind of the whole culture, whether it's Orthodox or secular, they have their booths. They kind of, it's almost like they kind of camp out. Right. And just to remember that when they were delivered from Egypt, they slept outside, and so they still remember that. Yeah. And it's called the Sukkot, or the Feast of Booths, Feast of Tabernacle. But Jerusalem is so dynamic because you got, not exaggerating, tens upon tens of thousands of Jews, Christians, and some of them are religious. And then it's also just like a fall break. Right. So imagine like Miami, for spring break. Right. Yeah. And people are there and they're just partying, they're drinking. Jerusalem is a extremely militarized city. Every intersection, every corner, you got, not just police force, but military. Everyone's got an assault rifle over their shoulder. And so it's you kind of feel safe, but you're also like, wow, is this level of force needed? Right. At every crosswalk, at every intersection. Wow. The Middle East, for someone from Hawaii that's used to the aloha spirit, like the Middle East culture is different, bro. Very different. Like very hospitable. But, people are comfortable kind of yelling at each other. Right. And they're, they live on the horn, like, and it's not so much, it's just it's a very different culture. Right. So, and I'll tell you what, it's, the whole kind of, Jew versus Arab, there is a tension over there, and people don't really greet each other on the street. One of my favorite quotes, we had a tour guide for the first half of our trip, and he's he's kind of a secular Jew, not a believing Jew, but he knows the Old Testament. Right. Like he has to. It's his history. Yeah. Right. But one of his favorite quotes is like, why do the Orthodox Jews walk so fast? Like they're basically like speed walking. And we asked, and he's like, he kind of jokes, he says, yeah, they think that God's timing them. Wow. Yeah. That's intense. It is intense. Jeez. Yeah. So, but here's, 5 different leaders, some church leaders, some marketplace leaders, and just to see these people have been Christian for, decades, first time to the Holy Land. This is the group you brought over. Yeah. Right. And just to watch them, how they're marked. Okay. For different reasons. Okay. For different, yeah. When you say marked, do you mean like how they were impacted and like the internal thing of what they were? You can see like it's a demarcation line for them. Oh, whether it's just like, wow, everything I've believed that's real. Here's the Mount of Olives. Yeah. Here's the Temple Mount. Right. Here's the place where Stephen was martyred.
Yeah.
Here's the Garden of Gethsemane.
Yeah.
Here's the place where Jesus was crucified.
Mm-hmm.
It's called the Via Dolorosa, and you kind of really walk that path from kind of where Pilate, maybe judged him to, and you realize like the topography, like he's carrying a cross in a marketplace.
Yeah. Right.
And he's carrying it there's elevation.
Yeah.
It's a very mountainous area.
Yeah. Right.
So, and that's the thing that marks me. I'll give you a great example, Matt, is, before I've been a Christian for decades, and when I picture the Garden of Gethsemane, probably the thing that comes into my mind is the Passion for Christ.
Right.
And it's kind of dark and there's olive trees, but you don't really have, it's kind of nebulous. In other words, it's just kind of like a little bubble.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you go to the Garden of Gethsemane, first off, it's on the base of the Mount of Olives.
Okay.
So it's on the Mount of Olives, but the lower part, and right across, it's in the scripture, it's called the Kidron Valley. Don't even call it a valley, it's a ravine. Right? Like, don't think mountains and valleys like, like Hawaii or the Pacific or volcanic, right? It's a hill.
Okay.
And then a ravine.
Yeah.
But, Jesus is there. He's in that garden setting. It's really more of an olive tree grove. And here's the thing. By just the topography, he's forced to be staring at the Temple Mount, which in that 2,000 years would be Herod's temple, which is a massive complex. Yeah. And so he's really staring at the place where he should be king. He should be enthroned. Wow. And he's going to be, that's the messianic prophecy over his life, is someone of the lineage of David.
Yeah. Right.
The Lion of the tribe of Judah. Right. Where does Jew come from? That tribe, Judah. Yeah. The king of all kings. It's like the continuation of the golden age of Israel, King David, King Solomon, where all tribute was coming to this, to this kingdom. Yeah. And that's his lineage. That's the inheritance on his life. That's the promise on his life. That's what it means to be the anointed one, the Messiah. The Jews are still waiting for him. They don't believe it's Jesus. They don't believe it's Yeshua. Yeah. They're like, no, he was just a man and he got killed by Rome. And then all these Christians started to persecute us because he got killed. And so it's a very dynamic. Yeah. But like when he's in the garden and he's like, Father, is there any other way? Like this isn't my destiny. Is this my destiny? Yeah. Really? Yeah.
He's looking up.
He's looking up. He's looking up where Abraham was going to sacrifice Isaac. Now it's one of the third holiest place in for Islam, the Dome of the Rock. Yep. The rock that is being referred to is where Abraham sacrificed Isaac. So that's Mount Moriah. That's the same place. That's the Temple Mount. That's where Solomon's temple was built. That's where Herod's temple was built.
Right. And he's looking up at all of that.
He's looking up. And now Jews can't even pray there. Right. So what they do is down below at it's called the Western Wall. Yeah. The Western Wall of the Temple Mount. That's their holy site because they can't get up on top to pray. And we were up there. Yeah. And we went up, I've been very fortunate. Both times I was there, we had access to walk on the Temple Mount, the holiest place.
Yeah, yeah. And so it sounds like you had quite a few experiences there. And I bet like you yourself have went through a few things just mentally, emotionally, spiritually. What would you say is maybe one or two highlights from this last trip that really stands out to you?
Great. Yeah, I love it. Great question. The travel to get from Hawaii, we are the end of the earth from Jerusalem.
Yeah, right.
You go to Google and you put in kind of like antipode or the exact opposite from Jerusalem. Guess what? It's going to be Polynesia.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Jerusalem is northern hemisphere, so it'll be French Polynesia, but you come straight up, you hit Hawaii.
Yeah.
From Jerusalem to the end of the earth. That's us.
Yeah.
So first off, the travel kills you.
Yeah.
And it's over $2,000 just coach. Yeah. So forget business class, forget lie flats.
Right.
And then we were traveling with some big boys, some Hawaiians, Tongans, Samoans. Right? So we get there. The very first thing we did the next morning, 7 a.m., our tour guide picks us up. We're in one of those kind of like Mercedes kind of shuttle vans.
Right. Yeah.
He takes us to the Jordan River and we got baptized.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was powerful.
Jeez.
That was powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, like it looks kind of like a dirty creek. It's the border of Israel and Jordan.
Okay.
But the Jordan River used to be massive. But now water has been, they've had to siphon water off of it.
Right.
Because it flows from north, from Galilee, down to the Dead Sea.
Okay.
And the place that's really recognized just outside of Jericho is, the waters, it's a tiny little creek when you see it. But that's where we jumped in. We got baptized. We all baptized each other. We dumped each other.
The doves came down.
That's the thing is you're always wondering like, man, am I going to have a supernatural experience? And it's not that. There's something there. It just marks you. It's like everything I believe in, it's real.
Right.
Like this is the spot.
Yeah.
Or maybe if it's not that spot, it's within hundreds of yards.
Right. And you can look at what Jesus looked at back then, what the disciples were doing, the environment.
So as far as spirit-filled believers, that's one thing. We were debriefing every night. So think of it as like a real discipleship trip.
Okay.
And when you unplug from your family, your ministry, your job, your schedule.
Yeah.
And
so would you say the baptism was one of the highlights for you?
It's where I think a few of us, when we were doing our debrief, said that's probably where we strongest felt the Holy Spirit.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's one more highlight from your trip? Because I know it's fresh, like there's probably a few things.
Honestly, it's the whole, it's the men on men. It's like the locker room.
Okay.
6 men.
Yeah.
All leaders.
Yeah.
In a 2-bedroom apartment. And the grace that we had.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is because of the travel and the time difference, we were waking up at 3:30 in the morning, wide awake.
Right. Yeah.
And so turn the lights on.
Yeah.
Open the Bible.
Yeah.
Imagine that 3:30 a.m. every morning.
Yeah.
And we're fellowshipping and we're praying together and we're in the scriptures and we're reading, prophecy like Zechariah 14 of when Jesus's feet is going to come back on Mount Olives, the very place he ascended.
Yeah.
This is where it was promised. Why are you staring up? This is where he's going to come back down in the clouds and his feet are going to touch down.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Mount of Olives and you're
then
like,
you physically go there.
And you're there and you're like, man, this is real. It feels more surreal than supernatural.
Okay.
Like it's not like, people always want this, but it's like, no, this is real.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is what I believe in.
Right.
Yeah.
And probably like a level of reverence as well. Just feeling.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Mount of Olives is probably the place that's the most meaningful for me. It's the best view of the Temple Mount. It's the best view of the old city because you're actually a little bit above it. Mount of Olives is just a little bit higher than Mount Moriah, but it's both hills. You have to say like Hill of Olives and Hill of Moriah.
Right.
But it's so surreal. But on the other hand, it's very, you know, people are trying to sell you postcards.
Yeah,
you know, it's very, you know, it's very touristy, and it's very, and when you go there, you know, even part of the old city, it's like a swap meet. You know, I have shopkeepers, and they're literally, you know, the culture there, they will come out and physically pull you into their shop.
Yeah.
You know, and this last 2 years with, you know, the hostages and the situation, tourism has been destroyed.
Right.
Yeah, they see, you know, a handful of Americans walking down that little part, that little alley, and it's like, and they see us, and you're holding some plastic bags. Get ready.
They're ready.
Get ready.
Yeah. So there was something very special that happened while you were there.
Bro, like, you know, our President Trump shows up. You know, we started planning this trip in January. It's October, and the 7 days we're in Jerusalem. Yeah. And now this is, you know, and the people, you know, I would say I have a prophetic slant, you know, prophetic ministry, small p. Yeah. You know, that's the challenging thing with the prophetic is, do we have any capital P prophets? Yeah. Right. Now, I think everyone in the culture agrees we had a capital E evangelist, Billy Graham. Yeah. Right. But who are the apostles? Yeah. Capital A. Who are the prophets? Capital P. But the people that know me, they, you know, I came back like, hey, Matt, we know you're probably trying to take credit. Yeah. It was this little contingent of Hawaii. That was that last, you know, straw that opened it up. But, you know, one of the real concerns is, was this a good time to go over there because of the war? Yeah. Like, is all the stuff going on? Yeah. And then you get there and it's like they've been doing this for 80 years. They've been fighting for their survival. It's the same thing. Right. They're fighting for survival. So, you know, all of the polarization politically in our country, around, let's say, Trump and his leadership and his personality, and they adore this man almost from a Christian perspective, almost at a scary level. Like, hey, this is kind of dangerous. It's almost too much worship and adoration. Right. But who else? Like, who else is going to get the blame or the credit? Yeah. Right. For after 2 years, these 20 Jews fly over a short helicopter ride. Like, they're not giving that credit to Netanyahu. Right. They're not giving that credit to the idea. They're giving that credit to a guy named Donald Trump. Yeah. You know, and they love him. They love Americans. Like, who else? Right. Who else really? Yeah. Is the reason that those 20 people have been in captivity for several hundred days, are now reunited with free families. Like, who are you going to give the credit to? Yeah. The sad thing as a Christian, it's not Yeshua. It's not Jesus. It's not the King of Kings. Yeah. It's the American King. In this season. Yeah, in this time. Yeah, that's I imagine going there, it's a different environment than what we experience here. Right, politically and all the things going on, the social dynamic. You have all the different people and places, and the religious, non-religious, secular. You know, for people who have been a part of the ground hire, right, and with you just coming back from Israel, what is one thing that you would want people to know about Israel, or specifically business owners? What would you want them to understand about Israel? Yeah, it's a fantastic question. And it's a controversial question, actually. And here's the main lens. So I would just say big picture. You know, we can always zoom in, but if we zoom out, what's the big picture? Yeah. Israel's not a political issue. Israel is a biblical issue. Yeah. It's a loyalty to Jesus issue. And so that's, you know, do I have every answer on how do we best support Israel, and how, you know, and is it the people, is it the lands? Right. You know, there's so many respected pastors that have a real problem with, would they even say, hey, Israel's committing genocide? there's some challenges. Like as Christians, we want to pray for, we are commanded by Scripture to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. But that's not just the peace for Jews, it's peace for Arabs. Like there's tons of Arab Christians. These are our brothers. There's Christians in Gaza, there's Christians in the West Bank, so it's a very controversial subject. And I think Christian leaders, we have to hit it head on. We can't let, let's just say the Tucker Carlsons of the world, the podcasters, the voices in our, it's not even our generation, these last 10 years, like we can't let Joe Rogan be the voice for the church or conservatism or Tucker, it needs to be us, and I love the fact that, that you're spearheading this podcast because, when it comes to the ground hire, when it comes to being a Christian business owner, let me pose the question. What has more influence on our culture? A 90-minute meeting once a week? Or a business owner? Who do you think has more access to human hearts? To marriages, to families, to communities? To customers, to clients? Like who's setting the trends? Honestly, it's not pastors. It's entrepreneurs. It's guys like Elon Musk. He's a trendsetter. When, to be honest, it's a non-politician like Donald Trump. They send out one message, one narrative, one tweet, and it moves. Tens of millions of dollars move.
Markets and all that.
Markets move. Things shift. And so that's, as far as the ground hire, one of the things that, I would say, if you start with the vision statement, it's to fulfill the Great Commission by what? By inspiring and equipping and transforming business owners. Business owners. That's a pulpit. If you're a Christian business owner, you have a pulpit. You are a shepherd. Whether you embrace that call or not. Your job is not just to invite a bunch of employees and connect them to your church. You are that church. You are that spiritual community.
And I think for me personally, it's like I never felt called to be a pastor, And then when I went fully into business, like that didn't feel right either. But all of a sudden coming to the revelation and the understanding that those two things need to be one and the same.
Absolutely.
Ministry, right? Like then it all clicked for me. And that's why I love the ground hire so much, is because that's what I feel like it is. It's not about making money, which that's a cliche. Everybody says that. And we just had Dante earlier on the podcast, and we talked about how he ate the cost for a lot of things. He lost out on a lot of things. Why? Because for him, it actually isn't about the money. But through those situations, right, God made himself known, and he came out more profitable. He came out with bigger contracts, not even seeking those things. Those things came, but it was out of his obedience and his willingness to lay down his pride and to walk alongside with his coaches and mentors, and to have that guidance and the input from other Christian business owners.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think it's a powerful thing that God is doing through the ground hire and through business owners. So, as somebody who's been developing the content in the sessions that I've been in with you, where you've led the charge and talking about the spiritual devos and even the application for business, right? Let me ask you this. How would you define success from a biblical lens?
It's a fantastic question, and it's hard because success in terms of the American culture, we're the pinnacle. Like point to one other city, one other nation, one other region, like get out the map and we're going to point to success. Where are we pointing? We're pointing at our nation. the American dream.
Right.
And it really matters. Like if you're in a certain country, you know, whatever, it could be the Philippines, it could be Japan, it could be parts of Africa, be parts of Europe. But if you're born into a certain situation, a certain class, a certain family, you can work, you can hustle, do all you want. You're not going to move the needle and be a multi-millionaire in 10 years.
Right.
But it can happen in our nation.
Yeah.
So that American dream, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's a tangible thing. You can reset the opportunities for your children and your grandchildren that you know wouldn't exist otherwise. But that's one of the challenging things for us, because sometimes kingdom success can just be the American dream, just with a little bit of Jesus pixie dust.
Right. Yeah.
And that's not it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that's not what Dante's experienced.
Right.
And I've heard his testimony. It's powerful.
Right.
So kingdom is very backwards. You die to truly live. You lose or you give to truly gain.
Yeah.
You lay down your life, right? And that is not the typical pathway for success.
Right.
Where you're really having to prop yourself up.
Right. Yeah.
And, you know, be better than the person next to you. In other words, you know, if you have two retail locations right next to each other, you're fighting for every dollar, every customer.
Right.
Right. And so it's like, no, the only way for me to be successful is if my competition is unsuccessful. So it's very, very challenging. And I think, you know, there's a scripture that's just coming to mind, like, what is it to gain the whole world and to lose your soul?
Yeah.
Right. And I think in Ground Higher, what I love about Ground Higher, and we have a handful of coaches, but success, it always is going to start spiritually.
Yeah. Right.
If you don't have a kingdom, very simply, is what is your connection to the king? And, you know, we can, sometimes Christianity and kingdom can just feel like it's just kind of non-profit.
Yeah. Right.
And we just do some good, you know, like say the Red Cross or whatever it is, but no, it's much more than that. It's much more than about, hey, you know, we're making some money and now we're going to tithe or double tithe or triple tithe. It all belongs to the king. Everything.
Yeah. Right.
And ultimately, he's the only one.
Right.
Not our board of directors. Not our, obviously we want to have accountability.
Yeah.
So it's a both and, natural and supernatural. But ultimately, there's one judge.
Yeah.
What he says goes, and how he evaluates what we've done in our American culture to be a blessing to others and to love others.
Right.
Yeah, it can be tricky to navigate.
Yeah.
And to tell you what, if you're a business owner, like who do you really have to talk to?
Yeah. Right.
Your spouse?
Yeah.
Your general manager?
Yeah.
You're not going to be totally honest with everybody all the time.
Right.
How can you be? How can you be?
And so, even with a pastor as well.
Yeah, I mean, bro, we know this. We've been in ministry. Like, what's the average pastor make? $5,000? If you have a huge church, $10,000 a month.
Right.
And then you're supposed to come to them and be like, hey, you know, I'm doing 30 million in revenue this year, and I'm really trying to figure out how to get to 37 million. Like what?
Yeah.
Like you're not comfortable having that conversation with your local pastor, because then it's all this weird, like, well, should I be giving more? And should I, you know, you don't even have a nice car. Should I just buy you a car? You know, like it's hard. It's very hard. Like Christian business owners, like we need it. And there's a lot of people doing it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ministry, but a lot of us were doing the same thing.
Right.
How do we really inspire, equip, transform business owners? Because this is how we're going to hit the city.
Right. Yeah.
For real.
Yeah. So what would you say? Because I agree with you. There's a gap. There's something missing within marketplace, within ministry, where if you take a business owner who's very successful, making a lot of money, right? They might have a hard time connecting with a pastor who's not at that level. It's not to put down the pastor or anything. It's just, well, have you experienced $30 million deals? Right? And so in your time with Ground Hire, how do you feel the Ground Hire has been able to fill in that gap? And not just fill it in, but also encourage the churches, encouraging the pastors, because we're not trying to take anybody from their church. Actually, It's the opposite. We're trying to, equip them to better serve their church, right? And to have more accountability and things like that. So what would you say to that?
Well, it's amazing. What is happening is when you have Christian business leaders, that they're not just good at systems. And they're not just good at strategy and trends and investments, but when they start to pray and they start to fast and they're looking into radical generosity.
Right.
Now, when you start to say, hey, legacy is more than just, all of my kids own their own house in Hawaii Kai or Kahala or, Kaka'ako.
Yeah.
And it's this more of an Acts 2 model where my family is the entire spiritual community.
Yeah.
And it's more, my legacy is beyond just my own bloodline. That's happening. That's happening in the Ground Hire.
Right.
We have had, do we need to be smart? Yeah. Do we need to leverage private equity? And do we need to flip our businesses? And do we need to buy homes for our kids? And do we need to maybe live in different states so we pay less taxes or move to Puerto Rico so we pay of course. Yes. Of course. Yeah. We want to, we're in the world, we're just not of it.
Exactly.
Right. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that everyone has a John the Baptist call on their life and you just go into the wilderness. Yeah. There is that. But no, what's happening in the Ground Hire is you see business owners and God's blessing them.
Right.
They're flipping their businesses for 9 figures in Hawaii.
Yeah.
They're business owners that you would never know that they have, liquid reserves of 4 million, 5 million, 6 million.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
That's a special thing.
Yeah. It is. I would say, being in a formalized program as well, because with churches, right? And again, we're not putting down churches by any means, and it's the opposite. We want to build up the church.
Absolutely.
Right? But sometimes it's hard to, for a pastor to commit to so many people, to disciple so many people. It's hard to get more than an hour of a pastor's times, typically. But to be in a formalized program where it's like, hey, if you're a part of the Ground Hire, you're not only a part of a group where you meet once a month for a monthly owners meeting with other like-minded businessmen and women, but you also have a one-on-one coach, mentor, somebody to disciple you. And this person, they're of high character. They're incredibly smart, right? Talented, but they have a pastoral heart. And what does that look like? To meet with this person once a month for 1, 2, 3 hours at a time, them tracking with you for X amount of years, to not just speak to the business side, that's actually a small fraction, but to be able to speak to the spiritual, right? And to encourage you in your spiritual walk, to lift you up, and to speak into your personal relationships as well. I think that's one of the things that has made Ground Hire very special and fulfill a very unique niche that, in my opinion, a lot of the churches haven't been able to reach just yet. And so coming alongside the churches to build these individuals up, to say, hey, are you tithing? And your pastor might not be asking you straight up, but your coach is definitely going to ask you, are you not only tithing, but is your whole heart committed to the Lord? Are you just checking off a box, or are you really investing your time, your resources into the big kingdom, the bigger kingdom, not just your tiny business or your empire that you're trying to build, right? So there's a lot of, as you're talking, there's certain paradigms, certain mindsets that I feel like you've been able to challenge, not just challenge, but help change, in the hearts and minds of people at the ground higher. What would you say are some of those paradigms that you've seen where it's like, hey, have you thought about this in a different way? Or what does the Bible say about this particular mindset or thought pattern?
Yeah. When it comes to coaching, and and this is different than pastoring.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
The more successful you are, the more you have to invest in coaching.
Yeah.
Look at professional athletics.
Right.
Look at the people that are at the top of the food chain, whether it's in MMA.
Yeah.
I mean, the amount they invest in striking coaches, grappling coaches, diet, you name it, cardio, like all of a sudden they have a team of coaches. It gets very expensive. And so that is, that's just a reality. The better you are, the more successful you are naturally in our culture. And if you're not investing in coaching, then you're not investing in yourself,
right?
In yourself. Yeah. And so, and that level of accountability, you're right. The average pastor, the average shepherd, they are probably not going to be the best accountability person for that business owner, successful business owner, seasoned business owner. That's what the ground hire offers. That's what other, coaches offer. I love this saying, and I'm sure I heard it. I really don't think I came up with it. I don't remember who said it. But it's, the more anointed you are, the more covering you need. And if you want the evidence of that, look at Jesus.
Right.
What did Jesus say?
Yeah.
I only do what I see the Father do.
Yeah.
Wow. I only speak what I hear the Father say. That level of submission, you see, that's the upside down reality of the kingdom. In our culture, once you're at the top of the pyramid, then who's keeping you accountable?
Yeah, exactly. Who do you answer to?
Yeah, who do you answer to?
Right.
Right. And in fact, there's this mindset of like, hey, I'm not accountable to anyone. Maybe the board of directors, but that's pretty soft.
Yeah.
You can always trade those guys out.
Yeah.
In a lot of times.
Yeah.
So that's a paradigm shift. Is the more authority you have, the more anointing you have, the more earthly success you have, the higher the accountability that's required. Scripture says this. What happens? Even teachers, I'm a teacher. We get a stricter judgment.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Right. Yeah.
That's a fearful thing. That's a heavy thing. It's a weighty thing.
Right.
And so that's one thing that's a big kind of shift from the average cultural mindset of like, I've kind of arrived. And so, it's no, you've been promoted and you've been entrusted. Okay. This is a test. I think we've talked about this, right? Are you going to a lot of times poverty can be a test. Prosperity can be a even much harder test.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You posed that question before. Could success be the test?
Yeah. Could success be your biggest stumbling block?
Right. Yeah.
Could it wipe out your marriage covenant? Could it wipe out the relationship with your adult children?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That was heavy. Yeah. There's quite a few things, in my experience, where you've led the content and, shared about various subjects where I'm just like, that's not what you get in regular business groups, and that's one of the things I'm just like, okay, this is not your regular BNI. This is not a Vistage where you're paying $2,000, but it's like, my mind would think, okay, where does ground hire sit amongst all of these different business groups, networking groups, and things like that? And the more and more I understand Ground Higher, and I've been a part of it, is I realized we're not even in that. We're just in our own ecosystem because we are the ground higher. There's a completely different mindset.
It's a different landscape.
It's a different landscape,
yes.
you know? And so when I talk to people about it, I would say, hey, if you're thinking about joining the ground higher, pray about it. Ask God, are you called to be a part of this organization? Even as a coach, are you called to be a part of this? And to me, that flips the entire mindset of like, you know, okay, I pay X amount of money. What do I get out of it? To, well, I feel called to this. And I believe if God is calling me, he will provide.
Absolutely. Like to me, and it's how do we mix secular narratives, which good, you know, taxes, finance, private equity, venture capital, you know, legacy, all of these things. How do we overlay biblical financial principles?
Right.
ROI matters.
Yeah.
There's earthly ROI.
Right.
Is there not heavenly ROI?
Right.
Like, is it just poetry when Jesus says, hey, store up your treasures in heaven?
Yeah.
Is it just poetry? Matthew 5, Matthew 6, Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
And it says, the Father who sees what you're doing in secret will reward you openly.
Yeah.
Like, is that real rewards, fake rewards, metaphysical? Like, we have to wrestle with this. Think about, you know, I mean, even when I was, you know, kind of in the corporate marketplace, and I've been blessed, got to, you know, participate in a few private equity deals.
Right.
And we're talking about anywhere between 5x to 15x EBITDA, right? Depending on industry.
Yeah.
What happens? Like, what reality is Jesus talking about at 30, 60, 100-fold?
Right. Yeah.
Is that magic math?
Yeah. Right.
You know, so Jesus believes in fruit. Jesus believes in multiplication. Yeah. You think there's someone that when he casts seed, what do you think he wants? You think he wants results? You think he wants return on that?
Right.
And the radical thing about Jesus, he sows more seed than anybody. Yeah. He sows it into the rocky places. He sows it into the place where the devil comes and steals it. He doesn't care. More seed, more seed, more seed. And the first ROI is 30-fold. Yeah. You name one industry that's doing 30x.
Wow. Yeah.
On a EBITDA multiplier.
Yeah.
See, so what do we do? Do we actually say, oh, that's just Bible mumbo jumbo? Right. That's just the words of Jesus and it's more poetic and more, you know, metaphorical. Yeah. I don't think so. Yeah. I think he's 30, 60, 100-fold. I forget the story, but there was someone that sowed. I think it was Abraham, Isaac, or Jacob. Somebody, they sowed. And in 1 year, 100-fold. Yeah. That was real. Yeah. Why not our city? Right. Why not your business? Right. Why not your marriage? Yeah. Right. That's what makes Ground Higher different. Is we're not pretending it's spiritual poetry. Yeah. And I think that's just it. Is at least for me, I would say for myself. Growing up, it's like you had the marketplace and then you had the ministry, right? You had the biblical and then you had the secular, right? Especially in business. And it was like those things were always separate. I mean, why do so many believers, you know, they think business and all of a sudden it's like a dirty thing for them. You know, they just think about the scandals. They think, oh, this guy just wants to be rich, you know, and just it's an automatic negative connotation. I've been guilty of that. Yeah. Right. I really was guilty of that. I thought, and this is something that God's been doing in me for 3 decades. In my 20s, I just wanted to be a pastor. Right. And I kind of looked at the business owner that was wealthy as like, oh, you're probably not a Christian. Right. You probably don't fast and pray. Yeah. It's not true. Yeah. Right. Not true at all.
Yeah. And I believe bringing those things together is really just being more aligned with the Bible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's the things that you have brought up in the content that you bring, in the lessons, in the devotionals. And so what are some of those other things that you've brought up? Is there a particular teaching that you have brought to the Ground Higher that really stands out to you, where it was either very impactful for people who heard it, or is impactful for yourself personally?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a provoker.
Yep. Right.
But here's the whole point: is what are the best coaches doing?
Mm-hmm. They're asking the questions,
right? Yeah. They're challenging.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, it's performance.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be at a different level in 12 months, 36 months, 5 years. Right. Like, this is something that every leader should be challenged with. And it's like, what generation do we live in? What is it just going to be like? And like the last 50 years, it's going to be the same as the next 50 years.
Right.
Like, what season are we in? I mean, think about it. Think about the pandemic.
Yeah.
It's a 100-year event.
Right.
Think about the Lahaina fire.
Yeah.
Worst fire in 100 years in our nation.
Yeah.
Think about, from a Christian perspective, Roe v. Wade being overturned. It's a 50-year event.
Yeah.
Okay, this isn't just a 3 to 5 year plan.
Yeah.
Now, do we need those? Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
We need the day-to-day discipline. But we're in a season when the world is like asking, what generation are we in? Think about Russia, Ukraine.
Yeah.
That's a 70-year event. Last time there was that type of war in Europe.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah, it's that perspective. That's the question. What generation are we in? And what do the experts say? What does the Bible say? What do pastors say? What do business leaders say? What's the trends? That, I would say that's probably a thought process. Like, where really is your business going?
Yeah.
And does the generation matter? Or we kind of be like, hey, my father built this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be the same thing.
Right.
The next the next 2 decades, the same as the last 2.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I mean, what newspaper are you reading? Right?
Yeah.
Now we know, we're talking about what's happening with AI.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Like, we're moving at clips of what's going to happen in 12, 18 months, not 12 to 18 years.
Right.
Yeah, the speed of things. I don't think the average business owner really has that sense. Yeah. This is a lot more than just Chat GPT.
Yeah.
And you do some automated customer service.
Right.
Or you outsource some things to, Philippines or Indonesia. Or, no.
Yeah.
We're talking about significant shifts that our father and our grandfather could never imagine.
Right.
If we don't have a spirit of wisdom and a spirit of revelation, and we don't add Bible, more than just Christmas story, but we don't like, what does it truly mean to be a wise man?
Right. Yeah.
We need that. Like, every business owner needs that. They might just not be going to church or to a pastor or to a prophet or to an apostle. This is the gap this is why Ground Higher exists.
Right. And so it sounds like being able to recognize the signs of the times.
Huge.
Right? And being able to understand trends in the marketplace, that's just kind of standard business talk.
Yes.
Right. But what are the trends, or what are the signs of the times biblically? Right? What have we seen in the last 100 years transpiring? And what's the next, not even 100, but what's the next 10 look like?
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you're going to, and that phrase, the signs of the times, that actually is a fantastic phrase. Okay. And it informs strategy. It informs decisions. It informs investments. It informs direction.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you were just at a lay person, like, so I'm not talking about being a theologian.
Yeah.
Right. Being a seminary still, just, you're probably going to start in Matthew chapter 24. And this is just when the disciples asked Jesus a point blank question.
Right.
What are the signs of the times?
Yeah.
What are the signs of your return, of the coming of the end of the age?
Yeah. Right.
And the most important word in Jesus's response to a point blank question, again, it wasn't, what do you call it? Like, it wasn't a parable.
Yeah.
It was a management meeting. It was a leadership meeting. And I think 9 times Jesus used the word then. So he just gave sequence, events. Then this will happen. Then this will happen. Then this will happen. Yeah. And do you know, one of the main signs is when this gospel of the kingdom is preached to all the world, then the end will come.
Yeah.
Do you know what's really, really challenging is a biblical level of preparation.
Right.
Do you know what Jesus says about the end? He says, the coming of the Son of Man, it will be like what? The days of Noah.
Right. Yeah.
The days of Lot.
Yeah.
That is like, if we're going to be loyal to Jesus, talking about our future, and guess what? Maybe it's my future. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's my children's future. You have a couple of young children.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's my grandchildren's future. I have 2 grandsons. Maybe it's my great-grandchildren. But here's the point. We're talking about preparing a generation.
Right.
You know what's challenging about when Jesus says it's going to be like the days of Noah or the days of Sodom? Think about what happens with Noah.
Right.
Think about what happened, the judgment that came to Sodom.
Right.
And this is what Jesus wants us to meditate on in terms of the future and contemplating the coming of the Son of Man or the end of the age.
Yeah. Right.
Really? Like that much negativity, that much like that. That's hard for the average kind of just American dream Christian or American dream Christian leader.
Yeah.
Just more influence, more likes, build. Everything gets better. Everything gets easier.
Yeah.
Says who?
Yeah. Yeah.
And here's what I love to say about the days of Noah. He had a man. He built an ark. Let's just say it took him several decades to build that ark. 100 years. Depends who you talk to.
Right.
100 years.
Yeah.
Here's what's staggering. Preparation of 100 years, preparation several decades. Let me ask you, are you building an ark for your marriage, for your children? This is what we ask. This is the question we pose.
Right.
What are you building that's supposed to preserve and protect and safeguard your family, your children, your grandchildren, your employees, their families, their marriages, their children? What about your customers? Do you love your customers?
Yeah.
Is it just a number? No, Hawaii is so relational. We love the people that we're helping, that we're serving, that we're doing, decades of preparation. Yeah. And do you know when God came to Noah and said, okay, now it's the season? Yeah. 1 week notice, bro. That, again, that's a weighty thing. Yeah. How do you do that? Right. How do you expect to do decades of preparation? Right. And then 1 week notice, and here comes the rain. Yeah. It's that wait. It feels like you're waiting forever. You're preparing forever. Then all of a sudden, everything comes crashing in. Yeah. That's a days of Noah reality. Right. That's what Jesus talks about, preparation. Yeah. And so that's one of the things, we have several members in Ground Higher. They've been members 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Yeah. Yeah. Decades of preparation. Right. Yeah. And I think you used the word provoke earlier. And I think that's actually one of the things that makes Ground Higher different.
So you would consider yourself somebody who provokes somebody to think deeper, to think about what are your mindsets, what are your thought patterns on this certain thing, what is your belief on a certain thing. For me personally, on an Enneagram, I'm an 8, which is the challenger.
That's it.
Yeah. So I would say the same.
You're like the nicest 8 on the planet,
well, because I am equally a 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So for both Matt Skeele and myself, you've got a provoker and you've got a challenger who's also a helper at the same time. And this is the type of thing that you're going to get when you join the ground hire. Because it's not, look, we'll ask the questions, okay, what does the market look like in the next 6 to 12 months? Sure. But we just talked about 6 to 20 years.
That's right.
100 years. Like, who's asking that question at Vistage, at BNI, right? Like, this is the kind of thing that sets ground hire apart. This is the kind of coaching that you'll get. And so why don't you speak to that? If somebody is considering being a coach or wanting to be a coach with the ground hire, what would you say to that person?
Oh, get started. Yeah. I mean, we do have a bit of an onboarding program where you actually come in and you receive coaching for 12 months.
Yep.
And so you're a paid ground hire member. It's just because we have a very unique model, right? And so that's kind of how that onboarding works. But if it starts with, do you really have a heart, to serve others, to bless others, to coach others? And it comes from just loving God, fulfilling the first commandment, and then walking out in the second commandment. I mean, we really look at that shepherding component, that pastoral calling, that prophetic calling, even that apostolic calling. That's the foundation. Yeah. Because as far as the real nuts and bolts, like if someone needs like a real business coach, you can go get those.
Yeah.
Right. And you can do some consulting. Like we need that.
Right.
And we have a ton of our members.
Yeah.
A lot of our members, again, they're investing in a lot of different levels of coaching. I mean, this is what the best of the best do. Yeah. Otherwise, you're not the best. Right. So I think, that ground hire, it also speaks to raising that bar, raising that standard. But yeah, no, for people that are like interested in coaching, like this is a great incubator. To do that. And you can build your own team. So usually every team would be about anywhere between 8 to 12 business owners. And you get paid really well for the time spent because it's a high value role.
Agreed. I would say if anybody is considering becoming a coach with the ground hire, first thing is to pray about it. Ask God, are you called to be a coach with the ground hire? And I think if he is, then he's going to provide the way. For sure. And we'll go through the process together. But in wrapping up, how about for potential members or people who are watching this that are like, you know what, I do feel some type of call, some type of compelling towards this thing called the ground hire and, what God is doing through this organization. What would you say to anybody who's thinking about joining?
Very easy. Come and visit. It's one thing to hear people talk about it, like us, you have to experience it. So we have a cadence, right? We have a monthly, kind of a group where it's like that fractal, again, 8 to 12. It's from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So you have a devotional time, a marketplace time. There's like, there's kind of that group dialogue, group conversation. We need to hear other business owners speak into our business, right? Even from different industries. It really helps. And of course, we break bread, we fellowship, and there's also one-on-one, and so come and visit. Yeah, come and check it out. You will realize that there's very few other settings that's going to afford you what happens in our monthly cohorts and our one-on-ones. Right. Yeah. And then we have a couple of larger combined meetings. Yeah. In fact, we have one coming up on December 3rd. Right. At the Prince Waikiki. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll both be there. Yeah. Yeah. Come and check it out. Yeah. Okay. Well, you guys have the invite. Come check out the ground hire. Get to know us. Pray about, is this something that God is calling you towards, right? Because this is not your regular business group. This is not your just, run-of-the-mill business organization where you're going to come and network and meet a bunch of people, get some tools. It's a lot deeper than that.
So we're building for the kingdom. Yeah. We're going after what God has for us and what he has told us through his word.
Amen.
So in closing up, is there anything that you would like to share with the people who are viewing and watching this?
Invest in yourself. Yeah. Invest in yourself. Be the best. Raise the bar. Raise the standard. Let's go get it.
Yeah.
We all need to do it together.
Right.
Especially in Hawaii.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, this is the M&M show. Matt Skeele, Matt Fredeluces saying thank you for joining us at the Ground Higher. And yeah, we look forward to meeting you in person. Aloha.